that maintaining a strong bond with partner who is miles away can be very challenging, but it's not impossible.
Is how did I find myself in the long how did I find myself in the long distance? Yeah, so I was dating someone who was relatively close for a couple of years, and then it didn't work out. So as of the time where we separated, which was not my fault, I think I wanted to emphasize that. As of when we separated, based on the fact is, and I respect it, in retrospect now, it was bound to happen. So I was quite shattered. I won't even lie.
Mm,
I was quite, because when you have a relationship, you felt this is definitely going to lead to marriage, and then for it to end the way it did, I was broken by that. So at the point, I was susceptible. I wasn't exactly looking for love. I wasn't open. I was lonely. It was hard. And funny enough, at that point, you just probably want someone you'll be talking to, not necessarily a serious relationship. You just want someone you can be talking to, and let's see how that goes. And I think that was what happened. So I had a friend of mine, and I reconnected with a friend of mine on Facebook, and we started talking. But then she, as of the time, was in the United Kingdom. She was working in England already, and it's far. But then I wasn't looking at anything long term. I just wanted someone I could talk to, and then we started talking. And it's funny, but then when we started talking, it was quite interesting.
mm,
I found out that we had a lot in common. That was funny. And I think it's funny, right? Because I never gave her the opportunity, or never gave anyone the opportunity as of back when I was dating. So I really did, when you're dating someone, there are people who are better, but you are just not open to it. Right? You just want to focus on this person and see how that goes. So basically we started talking, and then I found out, we shared a lot in common. Before you knew it, I couldn't I didn't want to be with anyone else. I had to ask her out. I tried my luck. Of course, I knew it was hard. I knew it was a wild goose chase because you're in
mm,
the UK. I'm in Nigeria.
mhm.
And then in the course of talking, she also told me about some very nice competitors or guys who were also on her case. So mine is, and they were all in the UK. And then here I am
Okay.
in Nigeria and in Abuja, and I didn't think it was. I just didn't know. I just felt in my gut that let let this not work because I was afraid of asking her out. Let me ask. Let's see how it would. So I wasn't thinking. I knew it was going to be a long distance relationship. I've never been in a long distance relationship before. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have five keys of navigating long. What do you call it? That kind of relationship. But I just thought, let me take the first step. It was a while when she accepted, she didn't accept immediately, which is the good thing. She started asking questions. Okay, it's not about saying yes. So how are we going to do this? So where is this going to lead? You are in Nigeria. And as of then, I wasn't talking like someone who wanted to relocate or someone who was even open. Because as an officer, I prided so much in my job.
So did you have anything against it, or did you keep an open mind, just wherever love takes you?
So I remember. So I I wasn't very open to long distance. I wouldn't even lie.
Can
I felt,
imagine.
and it's funny. I felt long distance between people are usually two people that are deceiving themselves. I felt for long distance to work, A has someone that he or she is passing time with in the other location. B has someone he or she is passing time with in this location. So they just, they are getting to. But I just felt I didn't feel it was practicable. I felt, relationship could not work based on the distance. I felt if you were not there with the person, if you guys didn't meet, if you guys didn't connect, you couldn't vouch for anything. So that I wasn't very open, to be very honest.
Okay. I'll say
Wasn't very
something
open.
later, okay, as regards to your last statement, but let's hear from
Yeah.
Achuba. So Achuba, how did you find yourself in a long distance relationship?
Okay. Good evening. Thanks for the opportunity. First of all, I have to apologize. Last Saturday, I couldn't make it. Like I told you, I was down with flu.
Oh, yes,
I enjoy conversations like this, so to speak. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay. Long distance relationship. I think I've found myself involved in a few, and it came because I was out to get to match with the right person. So just like an expanded search got me into that. First of all, I had one, the distance was not very much. We're both in Nigeria here. Uh, she wasn't very far. So we're talking, and the communication built up in the process were actually interesting. Herself as a professional in her own line of discipline. We're talking and talking, and the communication started building up, and the interest started building up along with it. So in the process, we're able to manage a whole lot of things, but unfortunately, it didn't last long. And even as I speak to you right now, I'm still involved in another long distance relationship.
Hmm.
So yeah, it seems like it's something that comes to me very often.
You be Jagaban for long distance relationship
now. That's actually because I believe the way I understand relationship, when two minds connect, the physical presence wouldn't be much of a barrier. I know that will raise a whole lot of questions as to how do you manage some other aspects of the relationship, which are also key to sustaining the relationship. Nobody go lie. You can't lie about it. Understand? But even when you are in the same apartment under the same roof, if the communication develops a crack or a fracture, or there's a fragmentation in that process, even the physical presence or the physical connection won't be there. So for me, I like the person I'm involved with right now is in UK. Surprisingly, it might shock you. When we're talking, the plan was already on ground. We just met like a week or two. She wasn't that open to telling me certain things about her personal plan. But what I was interested in was basically her concentration on the matter on the table. It's about relationship. And I felt with my level of exposure and understanding that she was rather scared to tell me, open up to me. Well, maybe she felt like if she had opened up, I would feel like, oh, this one is going foul. Hope no day. You know, that kind of a thing. So she didn't tell me, but she kind of highlighted the fact that she had a plan for a better life, because I would basically ask, what's your direction in life? So she told me there's something in the pipeline that if it works out eventually, then she was going to tell me. So I thought in my mind, what would be the plan? You are accepting me. Would it be a plan with another man or a plan that would take her higher in life? So that's okay. With the way I'm understanding this person, or whatever her plan is, I should be able to enjoy with her to some extent and see where it takes her, and if we can align for both of us. So one morning, I just stepped into my office. I called her number. Her number was giving me an international tone. So after a while, she called back and told me that she has something to tell me. I said, okay, what was it? She just narrated the story. That she called me the video. She called and told me that she's in UK. Now I smiled. I thought that's what you want to tell me. Yeah. So from there, we started having conversation, like talking things out. My own concentration is on the very thing that can make both of us excel in life and be in that relationship. So that's how I got myself involved in this fresh distance relationship. I actually want the right partner that both of us can actually align in so many things, that our interests are in the same direction.
I very much agree with you that it doesn't even matter whether long or short distance, as long as there is communication, trust, and commitment. If it will work,
Yeah.
it will work. If you don't go work, you don't go work.
No go work.
So,
Yeah.
now coming back to your, I think the last statement you made was that so when you are apart, there's a likelihood that you have people in your area, you know, near you who you've been doing. Let me say something that will shock you. I was hell, I was in a long distance relationship before I came to Lagos. I was in Benin, and I was in a long distance relationship with a guy who lived in Lagos. Okay. And all the while we were managing it, you know, because it was clear he was in Lagos, I was in Benin, and I was in my final year, and he had already gotten a job. He finished from Uniben. That was where we met, actually. This guy was cheating on me, not with somebody in Lagos that lived in Lagos, but that lived in Benin.
Jagaban. Jaga,
You are there
Jagaban.
saying people vicinity. This guy saw all the Echo babes, like they were fine girls in Echo. This girl, that guy was cheating on me with somebody that he also met in school then, who lived in Benin. She was working in I think Guarantee Trust Bank at the time.
Sorry to cut you in, Ada.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think maybe we'll get to that later, but I just want to chip in something. The thing with the long distance relationship, basically from my own viewpoint, is I think it's something that it's a kind of a reserve for it to work and work very well. It's a kind of relationship that is in reserve for those who actually want one particular thing from that relationship. You get my point? Like, you want to settle down, you want a life partner, you want somebody serious in your life. I think that is the people that can actually say, okay, no matter where this person is, I think if our interests, like I was saying, align, we can work this out and eventually meet and plan our life. Either we're coming together as partners, legal partners, or maybe from there we get to know each other better and see if we can be together eventually. So I think it's for those who actually want to have something serious.
I think I might want to emphasize what Best said, right? And I think it's a very key point. The point is that for not just long distance, either long distance, no distance, for that kind of setup to work, it must be between people who are actually intentional, people who are ready, people who have a certain purpose. For instance, when I started dating my wife, I'd already seen Shege, right? So I was, you know, when you have seen Shege and you're not tired, like, you know, how do I put it? You know, yeah, there are people who probably don't believe they will ever see Shege. Like me, I always had that high esteem that Shege cannot see me. Some people are bigger than Shege. So I had already seen Shege. Get it? So I had already dated for so long and I'd invested. You know, you date so much that you start having problems with your family. I had done that. You started having problems with your friend. I had done that because in my mind, I have seen my wife. But when this thing happened, I think I was tired. Two was that a lot of things I used to believe, a lot of walls had fallen about me. I think I was quite susceptible at that point, which was that when I met the girl, I was not ready for Dogo. I wasn't ready to play. I wasn't ready for any unseriousness. I wasn't ready for silly thing. I was just, see, if you have to know what you're doing, you have to know where you're going. If I smell when really helped. I think probably we'll get into that later. So in agreement with what Best said, personal, and I think most times it's actually the guy. It has to come from a readiness from the guy in question, because most times it's the guy. I think I think it might be unfair to generalize, but because I've been in the two spectacle. But then I think the guy has a greater part to play in what becomes the future of the relationship. So if of course, I think you have, I'm not saying all girls, but you have a greater percentage of girls who, when they are into something, they are into it. But most times, a guy, and I think you have a talk about that. I don't know if you've had that
Yeah,
conversation or you're still gonna
yeah,
have it. What we talk about that guys have this tendency to want to sample so many. So
Yeah.
no. I want to disagree with Nandi on a
no,
few
I haven't
things.
got no, I'm not
What-
saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying that,
Yeah,
but I'm
no,
saying
no,
that
no.
that
Yeah,
tends to happen. I'm not of that school of
it
thought,
tends.
but that tends to
Yeah,
happen.
no, I know.
That basically comes back to the point that I think I might say it in the sense that I'm a guy, but I would say that most times a guy, of course, we're still in a society where it's the guy that will propose, Abby. It's still the guy that will come and see the girls' people. It's still the guy that will set the ball rolling for marriage to happen. So if you're with a guy who probably is not there, he doesn't want to set the ball rolling, he wants to date you forever and date you for 7 years. You see, because the society doesn't allow, you cannot set the ball rolling. So the point I'm basically making in essence is I would say it takes an intentional person. From my own point of view, the girl is very important. From my own point of view, I think the guy has some cards in his hands. Because you can see a guy and you think this guy knows what he's doing. This guy is intentional. But in his heart, he knows he's not. As a matter of fact, the only time and the good thing is, see, long distance relationship gives people the opportunity to cheat more. Do you get what I'm saying? You see this thing called long distance. It helps people who want to be dishonest more. Because the only time you can attest to what the person is doing is when the person is talking to you, which is true. If, for instance, when I was dating my wife, she is when I'm talking to her now. Do you get what I'm saying? Anything can happen after, anything can be happening before. Do you get what? So a lot of people do those kind of things, and that is why if you have a guy who is doing that, you find out that most times the relationship might not exactly work. And the point is, see another point again, because long distance determines focus. A guy who is not focused on you might have a problem sustaining whatever attention he's given you. I've always told myself, I think that was basically when I was in the university, right? Because in the university, there was a tendency to be promiscuous. There was a tendency to have sticks up and down. But then I found out that each time I'm dating too many people at the same time, I'm always disorganized. I'm always,
So there's distraction, so you can't
there's
stay focused. Yeah.
distraction. For instance, you cannot. When I was this, I do know how many times me and my wife would be on the call. Sometimes 7 hours, sometimes 8 hours. It takes me not having someone else to sustain that kind of energy. Because imagine if there's another chick you want to call in the next 1 hour or 2 hours, or there is another. When a girl should know. I think it's normal for a girl to feel it when you are not having an undivided attention, when they are sharing you, because they calls you at a particular time. See, I'm going to only call you by 8. Don't call me outside that 8. I'm only going to call you by 10. Don't call me out. And it requires transparency. It requires transparency because
Yes.
sometimes my wife will call me and I'll be at work. But because I know it's harder for someone who is doing long distance, so you have to try extra hard.
You have to break down your walls, yeah.
Put my camera on and say, Dave, I'm at work. But if I tell you now, so this is me working, she'll be there. Or you'll be doing something, so it's an extra. So the thing is, it takes intentionality. So that I will not take words from everybody's mouth. Basically, that's what I want to emphasize. It takes intentionality.
Okay, I'm sorry, do I have the time?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I know conversations about long distance relationships will always take basically two directions. One, the distance itself is basically a factor people look at and say, oh, this is going to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, you look at the issue of trust, which is something Nandi is trying to emphasize in a subtle way. I think he's going about it, but he's not basically very direct.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand the analogy and the way you're playing around it. Issue of trust. If for me, when you know where the distance, what is involved in that relationship, there are certain factors you have to de-emphasize.
Oh, network.
First of all, diminish their place first. Be sure that, I mean.
Yeah, you froze for 2 seconds or 3 seconds. So.
Okay, let me take some step back. I said, in issue of long distance relationship, there are certain factors you have to de-emphasize from the entry point. And that thing is to know whether the partner, the person in question, is 100% faithful to you. Trust me, whether you like it or not, there will have some hanging relationships in our minds before maybe we meet the person we are meeting. Then you discover that in this generation, nobody is entirely single at one point in time or 100% single. She's talking to someone, you are talking to someone else, but you want to choose your preference. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hello?
We can hear you clearly.
Okay. So it's all right. So when you are beginning a long distance relationship, those factors have to be de-emphasized. You don't focus so much on those factors yet. Look at, for me, I'm speaking for myself. Look at what that person is driving at in life. Where is this person going? Does this person really, you open up, have some deep conversation, have some serious conversations first.
That is, you can only have
no matter where you are.
You can only have a deep, serious conversation with someone who wants to have a deep, serious conversation, because if you're not
from
on the same
there,
wavelength, you're not going to get anything.
That is the same thing. That is it. That is it. And even when the relationship is physical and close, it's still the same factor that will play in. When someone wants to be serious with you, even when you are together, you will know, and the person is not serious.
That's true.
It takes more lives to protect one life.
That's true. So let's talk about physical closeness and intimacy in a long distance relationship, because whether we like it or not, phone call, video call cannot replace that intimacy. They don't even come close. Okay, so let's not even deceive ourselves. So my question is, Nnamdi, before you got married, I mean, to your wife, and Achuba, you're in a distant relationship now. I'm going to be as direct as possible. How does they handle the kanji?
You see, the thing is, in this social media world, when they are recording everything, do you want me to disgrace my village people?
No, don't go into specifics at all. Don't go into specifics.
I would say something, right? I think what I would say is, I think if anybody tells you that distant relationships are easy, the person is not being entirely honest. I think it is very, very difficult. I think it's very demanding. I think it's very challenging on so many levels. And except you get to a point where, like Best is trying to emphasize, that you're able to build trust, there is so many things you can do with the person. Even intimacy becomes a problem except there is trust. Because the thing is, it's funny, but this relationship gets to a point where, because the person is not physical, everything has to be happen on phone, right? So it gets to a point where you have to be on video call at various points when you are what's it called? When you are sleeping. Sometimes you want to enter bathroom and you feel like, this might help too. But then the point is, see the point. I think I want to emphasize this. without giving too much information.
Mm-hmm.
A long distance being a long distance, right? It is intimacy, it's important, but then intimacy can, to a very great degree, change the trajectory of the relationship.
It contributes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll come in at that point.
It
Yeah, I
does
want to chip in
contribute.
something. Sorry to cut you in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, speak.
Yeah, I thank you, and I share that sentiment, especially the last statement that the physical intimacy tend to tilt the trajectory of the relationship. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. But you know, intimacy relationship has different levels. I keep telling people, I keep enlightening young minds and even adults myself. It is not the sexual aspects of relationship. I will use that because we are adults. I'm sure we're all adults. It is not an aspect that really sustains relationship. It is important. It is key for adults. It gives that reassurance that okay, this is the level I've accepted this person, and this is the level this person is already offering in this relationship. But that does not guarantee it. Yeah, it will come. You have that feeling. Like that's why I said before that for me and for some persons in long distance relationship, sustained communication, trust me, can be enough at that point.
Except Konji
we are
never hold you.
we are human beings.
Konji never hold you.
Are you celibate?
Yeah, I'm not celibate. If the feeling that country feeling no day, the need for a woman no go day.
Uh-huh.
That is
and the thing is, Bess, I think what she's trying to say in essence is we're emphasizing we're emphasizing on physical intimacy. I understand intimacy on so many on so many levels.
Yeah. Okay.
I think our video is paused.
So Pat just joined us, and you're not on camera though. Do you know that?
I've been here since. I've been here.
Okay, so we can't see you, so we can only see a name. Is it okay?
You know, I've not used this Zoom thing before, so coming to Zoom to the first time, I don't really know how to get my camera on. So I've been struggling since, but I kind of hear when I joined in when Nnamdi was speaking.
Okay.
And then
we're going to give you the mic now to speak after Nnamdi.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a lot to share. So after Nnamdi, yeah.
Okay, so I think just to keep it, you know, I'm not going to be hypocritical, but then the thing is, it is difficult when you talk to someone so much every day, every night, video call. It will come to a point where your body go on. You want to do, you want to see, but it's true. It's true. It gets to that point. When you want to, what are you wearing? Everybody gets to that point.
Yes.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? True. Can we go down? Can we not go down? I'm feeling honey. It will happen.
Yes.
But the thing is, I'm saying, right? I'm saying the thing is, my own personal opinion. As much as these things actually occur, right? Because to me also, I think compatibility on so many levels is important. But you see this thing called sexual compatibility. It's for me, it's on the top of the table.
It has broken many marriages down, safe. That's how powerful it is.
Exactly. So if I used to tell my wife, if I'm not sexually attracted to you, there will be a problem. You understand what I'm saying? If you know, we got so close. It's funny, right? But we got, because of course she's a Christian. She had strong principles, and then she was doing, you know, we became bestie, and I'm like, well, bestie. But if we don't get to a place where we can desire each other, me and you can be bestie for life. And then marriage doesn't exactly sit on the table of bestship. There is so many things that happen. You will not be talking all the time. So as far as I'm, in my own opinion, Physical intimacy, yes. You probably will get into a point where you want to do some chatting, you want to do some talking. But I think the problem with long distance is if that becomes all you do, it can totally change the trajectory. And that can very quickly ruin the fabric of whatever relationship the both of you have. So people have systems that work. Some people try, some people you can't exactly avoid it totally. But I think it's something that if you leave unattended to, if you allow it to run its way, it's definitely going to destroy your long distance relationship.
Yes. There's always a balance, you know, in everything. So, but you see that sexual compatibility, that chemistry, go. If you are feeling someone, even just speaking with them over the phone, you can be discussing about how you experience traffic jam on your way back to work, I mean, from work, you know, and there's just this thing you just feel, because this energy, when you have someone when a bond strong, you can be talking about something that is not even sexually related, but you can just feel them one kind, you know. The next thing, the conversation.
But imagine at night. Imagine at night you're lying down and then your phone is like this, and then you know, at some point you talk about nothing, sweet nothings. You just how was your day? The person's voice is already sounding something.
That voice, because you love the person, because you love the person so much, and everything the person does, just, you know, it gets you in a very
and then the person is now wearing one sweet gown like that you're not sure whether it's pink. You're not sure whether it's pink or red. You want to be sure. Does it have lace? Is it silk? You know, these things happen. We're adults. It will happen. It definitely will be.
Parts. The floor is for you now. Yeah.
It's fun anyway. Can you hear me?
Very well.
Okay, like what I told you before, my end point of my summary, I say love wins at the end of the day. Yes, it's true, because one thing that I've always sustained long distance relationship is love, and love gives birth to commitment, and also it gives birth to sincerity, trust. And I think when someone loves the other person, it tends to cover every other area. So that's one thing that's helped long distance relationship to work, because if you don't love your partner, you can't even stay in a long distance relationship, because even the one that is close is hard. Talk more of the one that is far. So when you guys are together after a long time, you tend to build more before the separation comes again. But I'll tell you, it's not easy. It's not easy in the aspect of the, should I say, sexual aspects, because after a long time, you're always on the phone, you're always doing videos, and once in a while, you want that close contact with your partner, and it's not there. Called for long distance relationship, and you know, the male or the opposite partner cannot always be waiting for 6 months, 7 months without, you know, doing something. So before you know it, now one person is already.
Damn, blame us, so best. Damn, blame us. It is not. I can't wait for 1 year, 6 months. But
that's gender. That is gender. That is gender sentiment. That is gender sentiment.
Can you wait for 6? Can you wait for 6 months? You know they do you too. I think only the man they do.
That is gender sentiment. I do not agree with that.
One thing that I've made this long distance relationship is somehow difficult, because then another aspect is the communication. You know, most times when you're not with the person may be busy, so the communication tends to withdraw a lot, because you might not have more time to keep talking on the phone, on a data and a credits, they waste. So sometimes 1 week you have not spoken to your partner, sometimes some days. Those times when there is break.
1 week is too much, oh. 1 week is too much, my dear.
You know, we're talking about being intentional.
1 week. Two
equally intentional people.
And then what is not Felicia's husband that is a sailor? 1 week.
See, two people that are equally intentional. You see, Yeah, you said sometimes one is busy, the other one doesn't have time. Yes, we all know that people work. Okay, one of them can have a very mad demanding job, or even both of them can have it. But guess what? They could structure their schedule the way that it will be transparent. Both of them know at this point in time, okay, this is where my woman or my man they okay, this is what my man is or my woman is doing. Okay, I'm not going to call him now. Let me call her at a certain time because I know that by that time he's a bit free. Oh, okay, I know this is the time he goes for break. Even in his or her demanding tight deadline, whatever you call it, I know you should know. I mean, the two people, if they are very intentional about what they have going on, what they're trying to build, they should know that, okay, at so time during the day, he's on break, coffee break, tea break, whatever. Okay, let me just give him a call. And even the other person will be like, okay, once I go on break, and I'm going to call my babe before I dash back into work. So that kind of structure just
it's this is the thing. It takes intentionality from both ends.
from both,
For
that's what I'm
instance,
saying.
you know, I'd mentioned it in the beginning, right? That while I was dating my wife, as an officer, some days are choked up. Like either I'm on the road or I'm going to schools, something shall will happen. I'll be so busy. But then the thing is, sometimes because the person you are dating just wants to hear your voice. So it's funny that sometimes my wife would just say, I don't be speaking to me. Keep the phone, so I'll be hearing your voice. Just keep the phone, keep the video, so I'll just be seeing you. And also for her too, it took a lot of sacrifice. Because then as a nurse, and the crazy shift they do here in the UK, sometimes she's on night shift. She's on crazy night shift. And then she comes back and then she wants to sleep. But because of that intentionality, that brief moment, you know, it's funny that sometimes she would want to speak with me even when she's feeling sleepy.
Even if it's
Like,
just 1 minute.
you know that her eyes, she will tell you, don't worry, I'm here, I'm here. Her eyes is closing, but she just wants to speak to you. You cannot help but feel
because
like, I don't know how to say it.
You know
feel
why?
that this person really desires you.
You know why? Even as tired, as knackered as she is, or she was, she still wants to speak to you because she needs to hear your voice to keep going. Is that your voice, Gogo? Now the vitamin where she need. And that's how
so
you
imagine one week. Now let me say, una know the dates now. One whole week when it's not a sailor. It's crazy that people are not being honest with themselves, and that's why our long distance relationships are not working. Because it is clouded in a lot of lies and deceit. See, the truth is how can you not? You know, it's funny, right? That sometimes while I was dating to marry, if I didn't speak to my wife for a whole day, I will be worried. It's not that, oh, what is she? I'll be worried that, is she okay? Like, is something wrong? Is there like a health crisis? Because it's not something we are used to. You can't do a whole 3 days. You've not heard from the person you are dating. 1 week, you reach when the person calls you back in 1 week, you go ask the person, are we still brethren? Are you sure we're still dating again? Because in 1 week, anything could have really happened. And if that was the case,
that is the point I made. That is the point I made from the get-go of this conversation. That long-distance relationship, for it to actually exist and remain sustained, it's for two persons that are actually intentional from both parties. You know what you want. Other things you may want to consider to be sure whether this relationship, my partner is cheating on me, whether it's this or that. The secondary aspect of it, I will, if I may place them in their right places. You don't have to overemphasize those ones. You are dating. You're trying to come together to see for something serious. You're building something. You are not yet legal partners. I made that point initially. You're trying to see if the two of you can align, if your interests are like the Bible says, unless two agree. So at the point you're trying to agree, see, what I want is a life partner, someone who can be this, who is doing this, and then you want to see how you build that love. Then you share the time of the commitment you give to coming together. You are assessing me. I am also assessing you in return. So it's a relation. It's a come up, a kind of a build up in a relationship where you don't have to want to see everything 100%. But there are certain things you want to see to be able to feel convinced that, okay, I can be with this person for social level of relationship.
You know, it plays out a lot, especially if the long distance leads to marriage. As of when I was in the long distance, I knew my wife loved me. You know, it's I don't know how to say it. You know that this person desires you. This person, what's the word again?
You hungry am.
Yes,
that is the
you
point.
hungry this person.
The person hungry you or you self hungry am. You must have hunger. That passion
you know that
there.
This person values you. So it's funny. This person values you. This person wants you. And the funny thing is this. I think I mentioned it.
That is my point. And you were able to get all those things, all those information you needed through the regular communication.
Yes.
That is where at the point where the desire was expressed. Like I'll give you a case about myself. I told you I'm with someone who is in UK as we speak. I'm not looking for an angel. Do you get my point? I am looking for someone that has that desire for me. Someone that has whose compass in life is tilted towards where I am going to. You look at the person's dreams. Yeah, this is where this person is going.
There's
then
dream
you look
alignment.
At your own self
yeah, goal alignment. Yeah,
alignment. We have conversation, like reasonable conversations. We don't even dwell more on. Yeah, I know that there are sometimes we delve into this romantic aspect. Yeah, I told her personally that if you're not sexually attracted to me, I can't date someone who's not sexually attracted to me. That point is key for me. I make sure it through your communication in a sexual communication or sex communication, as you may refer to it. I test every aspect I know is important to me for me to be with you. Then when we move from that side, we still also have that reasonable conversation on what do I want with this person? Where can I go with this person? You understand? So everything you want to assess about an individual boils down to having that reasonable conversation. That's when you know. Then that conversations also, you match the person's actions with the words they speak.
Was the fact that if you do your long distance well and it works, trust me, there will be a certain it sets you and your partner up on a very great foundation. I will not lie. A conversation
yes.
able to sustain without being there physically, a conversation you've been able to sustain, and then the thing again about long distance relationship is you would talk more than you do. You understand what I'm saying? There will be more time
exactly.
to have constructive conversations, talk about life, what you want, where you are going. You understand? So there will be you will cover ground, because it's not all the time you just be saying, let me be seeing your face. Is that your nose? No. Is that the size of your nose? You will actually get to talk about things. And when you get to
those
talk
are not
about
the conversations that sustain long distance relationship. Yeah, those ones are flimsy.
But they're also important. You see, because they're the nuggets. Okay, so there's a main dish and their side dish. Yeah, so there's a reason we have side dish. They're all important meals. Yeah, so
there will be many times where you wouldn't want to talk about any serious. It's not all the time you'll be serious.
Yeah, it's not all the time that you want to really talk.
It's not all the times you will be talking about where are you going, what's the trajectory, is our purpose aligning, are we going up or down, where is no. Sometimes you want to talk rubbish. Sometimes
you want to add
casual conversations.
Casual conversations. Yeah.
Want to be goofy.
You want to be goofy. You want to talk about stuff.
Yeah,
You want to, especially because it's a long distance relationship. You must also be very good at, you get distance. You can't get distance. You get distance for instance, right? For me, I personally think that if I'm dating someone, for instance, I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Abuja, and I'm dating someone who is in Enugu, I won't see that as distance. It won't be as serious of a distance as going across the border. Now, see why I say this. I say this because if you're dating someone in Enugu, it is in your hands and potentially in your pocket to want to make it work. For instance, the guy who was dating you and two others in the guy, at least he only means that all the guy needed to do was to plan his leave in such a way that give me 1 week, 2 weeks leave. In that 1 week, 2 weeks leave, I'll go to Benin, even if I'm going to share it one week with the two people. But then he goes. Well, now look at the situation where you're dating someone in the UK. You cannot wake up and want to go to UK.
You cannot wake up. Exactly.
You cannot wake up and say, you have to pass through the visa, what do you call it?
Yeah, immigration and everything. Yeah.
You have to buy a flight ticket that is as of August, that is at 1.5, 2.2 million, 3 million. So it's not something you can decide to. So that means that distance can actually stay for as long as 4 to 5, 6 months. You understand what I'm saying?
We can argue this
distance.
We can argue this all night.
You see,
long distance relationship. Yeah.
You see, for me, I don't think long distance relationship, before we go to the final question or topic, I don't see long distance relationship as a problem. I don't see the distance as a problem. You see where the problem they go. Now the one will be emotionally distanced relationship.
You just mentioned it.
Because people always emphasize on long distance.
That's why I say
you can be in the same house with someone and you're so distant. Of course, we all know that. You can be physically distant, miles and
very far with that person.
And you are so like this, intertwined, yeah? So now that emotionally distant relationship gonna be the problem. Now, when you now have a long distance relationship, and the same relationship, there's emotionally distance. You're just dating yourself. You are dating yourself.
Okay, let me come in first. Like I said before, I've had conversations with young minds and people. I've asked, I talk to people, I talk to young minds whenever I'm free, my leisure. And I asked them quite recently, can you date someone that is far away? They say, no, I'm not fit for I'm not get strength for a long distance relationship. So I tell them, and I'll tell you right here that long distance relationship is for the psychologically matured individuals.
I agree.
It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. The fact that you want a rich guy abroad or you want a successful guy abroad doesn't mean you have to go into a long distance relationship. Because that's the core reason why you have a whole lot of breakups in marriages these days, because these are marriages that come up out of matches because my partner is somewhere he's making a good living and you are here. You didn't really take your time to study many things, many factors that are key to the survival of the marriage. So long distance relationship is not for the psychologically young or weak people.
Yeah.
You must be very intentional about it. And there are certain challenges that come with it that you must be very ready to endure. First of all, you know that the person you are dating that is physically far away from you, there are a whole lot of things you don't know yet, except for the few you shared through the communication lines. Then you think you can be with this person. Then you still need to get closer to be able to understand this person more and have that level of conviction to say, okay, yes, I want to really be with this person. So long distance relationship, if you do, like, I would say there are some people or individuals that their desire for their partners come in a way they cannot control. Don't go and deceive someone else that you are in a relationship with that person while you're playing around with someone else. It doesn't go well. And if you have someone else and you still want the person, let the person know the level you are with their side boyfriend or side chick, where it ends with him or her, and where you are placing that. If the person is ready to accept it, and he will know that, okay, hey, you have somebody here, but if the person is not going to accept that, then let it be. Let it, so that you don't get yourself messed up. Because I've seen cases
I'm sorry.
where
I didn't quite get that last one. You said telling the other person about side chick or what?
Your level of your level of exploit, whether you can endure being with that person alone or you have someone else, because the major factor people consider before they say no to long-term relationship is the fact that they want 100% faithful partner that is miles away, which is basically not possible for so many people.
Well, if you know that you can, it is a possibility for those who are very, very, like, we keep saying intentional. It's not a buzzword. This is It's a core. Okay,
it's a core. Yeah.
People who are intentional, just hearing the person's voice alone is enough to satisfy you sexually.
I understand what Bess is talking about. I understand Bess.
Okay.
Because I could remember there was a time when I was in a relationship with someone that was far away from me. And one day he just called and asked me, how many boyfriends do you have? And me, I just said 6. Because, of course, I have him as my boyfriend, but I could say there are a lot of guys that are on my list in terms of they want my attention, but I don't give them that attention.
Thank you.
So I just jokingly said 6, and he got upset because he was expecting me to have him alone. So me bringing that, he lost trust. It was like, oh, I'm here, and you are doing a lot of things over there. So it's expected that you guys have to be on the same page. If I have you, then you have to have me. You understand?
Sorry
Not
to cut it.
Tomorrow somebody will not be telling him somewhere that I saw your babe somewhere with somebody. It brings a lot of confliction into your relationship, where you're saying one thing and your actions are saying another thing, your environment is saying another thing. So that's where a lot of problems are coming from.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the point. That's why I said it's for the psychologically mature individuals. Now, when some persons don't want to hear, so we are dating, you still dating another person, or you still have some persons that are chasing him. Who knows how many guys that are there? Who knows how many girls that are there? For me, it's going to be a very big problem.
And I know long distance relationship breeds a very horrible insecurity.
Yes.
Thank you. That's the point. And as I said earlier, you can't see a handsome young man like Nnamdi, and you don't expect other girls to be admiring him. Or you see a beautiful girl.
Don't let Nnamdi wife here.
All of that guys will still be admiring the person, but if
the
person
I get your point, though, yeah.
For what you are discussing, for what is bringing you and I together, I am ready to be there, and you are seeing that effort. You're seeing the person being intentional about it. You've got to give that person a chance. You understand? Give that person a chance to make that effort and see them advance their effort towards a reasonable relationship.
Yeah.
And see how much you can build in terms of that.
Who are oblivious to the challenges ahead.
Okay, so I would say this. I would say as someone who navigated that terrain of long distance relationship, and that it ended in marriage, and then it also, as someone who it wasn't something I had believed in before then, I would say that to anyone who is thinking and asking the question, is long distance, is it feasible? I would say yes, and then I would say no. I would say yes on the ground that it is not for the faint-hearted. If you want to do a long distance relationship, it requires more of you. It requires sincerity. It requires honesty. It requires, you must be intentional. You must. I think one of the things I've seen that kills a lot of relationships is the fact that you must understand that if this is a long distance relationship, I am not going to handle it the way I handle relationships where I'm with the person in the same place. What it means is there are things that I might not do because that other person should understand or that person should get, but then I have to do it in a long. For instance, there are some times where you know the person calls you, the person wants to know where you are. You know, you can't say, oh, don't worry, I'll call you back. I'm out with my friends. Sometimes people who you are dating also wants to feel that they are part of your life. So what it means in essence, you have to go the extra mile. And if it must work, if your long distance must work, you must be willing, you must be intentional, you must be all in. You cannot date the person and two others.
All in 101%.
Yeah, if you date the person and two others, you will not be able to give that relationship the concentration that it requires. You must have come to the point where you know that I'm not playing. I'm not here to come and see how it works. I'm not testing the waters. I am very intentional about this and I want it to work. At that point, you make sacrifices. I remember someone said something about data go born. Hey God, ego born. You go spend data tire. Wallahi, you spend that. So it's funny, right? Because now I understand the difference. If you're dating someone in the UK, for instance, and they can do £21 and do unlimited data, and then they can talk to you, and MTN will not send that ridiculous message they used to send. 500 MB remaining, 200 MB remaining. You don't know what God has done for you. Because you in Nigeria, I remember before I started talking with my wife, I used to do I want to remember the subscription I used to do. And it used to work, it used to last. I used to do, is it 7,000? 7,000 used to last for 1 month until I started doing long distance. It didn't know, sometimes it can be 1 week. And it was that crazy. So the thing is, you realize now that you have to spend more money. It's not for the faint-hearted. You go spend money, you will explain tire. If the person asks you questions that you are thinking, explain. You must never get tired of explaining. And if no, in the sense, finally, it would not work if you want to just be in a relationship and you're not willing to, long distance relationship, and you're not willing to do what it takes, you're not willing to sacrifice, you're not willing to be intentional about it, you go spoil. Don't worry. You go spoil.
You know pass, eh? The one that will be so annoyingly painful is after spending that money. You know, you said 7,000 a week, right? You are spending it on a relationship that you thought was leading to somewhere. Only if you don't do that for like 1 year, finish. You don't burn all the money. Even your last money to take chop, use and buy data. Then
have you
only for the next people that tell you, I am sorry, Niko. Hey, I go make you explain for my life.
Ada, we're talking about data. Have you sent flour to the UK before? Have you converted naira to pounds to send flour on Valentine's Day?
Hey, I've not done that kind of thing before.
You know that's the thing. You must be intentional. And it's funny because you have to bridge the gap. Anything you can't say because we're in a long distance relationship. You should understand that on her birthday I can't do anything. On Valentine's Day I cannot. It's not true. At some point,
it varies. It varies.
It
varies. It's not every individual.
Yes.
See, the demands in long distance relationship varies, and it depends on the person you're playing with, you are dealing with. Yeah, like I totally agree with your view on how to go about it.
Best. Every woman values gifts. Every woman wants to be spoiled, whether she's in UK or whether she's in Nigeria.
Yes.
It also shows your
But
seriousness. So let me tell you. Let me share his personal experience. Best. So sorry. See, one of the things, my wife is somewhere in the room, but I'll tell you, one of the things I used to get her, especially when I knew there were too much competitions in England. And I knew there were guys who were doctors, guys that were doing well, guys that were earning in pounds. Me and Naira did they pay me. When I made up my but that's the point is when I made up my mind that I was going to do something that was remarkable, I had to contract an artist from Nigeria to draw a portrait of my wife and then to deliver it on her doorstep on a Valentine's Day with flowers.
That's going extra mile. Hey.
That's what I'm saying. There is what you would do. You know, so that's the thing. The problem is what we have most times is a lot of ladies who are in England, they look at men in Nigeria and they think we don't have money. That we're coming here to come and spend the little they have. Where you know someone like Best now is an Odogu in Nigeria. Best, you have to prove to her. No, but it's true.
That has a point. Yeah.
You have to prove to her that now Odogu you do. You understand? So these small things actually matter for long distance to walk. I think that's my opinion.
You are talking as an Igbo man, you are. That is the day this my partner traveled and told me she's in UK. I engaged her in a short conversation. First, I congratulated her and told her, "Oh man, you took a bold step of trying to go over to UK and improve your life and develop yourself more." But that, do you still want this relationship? She said, yes. I said, are you sure? She said, yes. She started feeling nervous about my questions. I said, no, relax. As long as you are going to be intentional about this, I don't have any problem. But I'll give you an insight into what to expect and what is going to happen. That a time will come when it will be difficult for you to give me attention as much as I will need it. She said, no, lie. I said, I will understand because you are going in. There are some demands. It's a new society, and you may want to meet up with some expectations. Your schedule might not give you the time to really give me the much attention I need. She said, no, that nothing will ever. I said, don't make promises you can't keep. I understand it. It's a long-distance relationship. But all I want you to know is that always give me a heads up whenever there's a change in the schedule. When that communication is being initiated and sustained at that level, and you want to really maintain it at that level, I will see the effort, and that will help me understand it. But don't lie about it, because when you do, I will definitely find out without you telling me. I'm smart enough to that extent. I will know.
But so far, the same energy has been maintained, right? Like it hasn't dropped. So
yeah,
everything is still on.
Whenever it hasn't been a flat run. There have been fluctuation, but she tries to make me understand. Yeah. I know the nature of her work. You give me a heads up. Oh, by next week, it's going to be this and that and that. So that when they start coming up, I know that this is the reason she can't meet up with certain things.
I don't want to bust Best bubble, but I think I would just want to chip this in, right? I think in a long distance relationship. No. You see what I want to say? I think in a long distance relationship, right? Especially when you're dating someone in the UK, there must be a plan. There must be a plan. If there is no plan that you are seeing how it's going, my brother, it's a long thing. Because for instance, when we got serious, one of the things my wife needed to know is, what is your plan? Are you coming or are you not coming? I am not going to marry you.
They come.
Exactly. It was a question she asked.
She knew what she wanted. That's it.
I'm not going to wait for you and you now be saying, oh yeah, let's come. You know, some people will do it, let's come back and do court wedding, then we'll go again after 1 year. We'll not come and do it. She was like, oh, I'm not ready. Tell me what.
Work.
I was forced to start making plans. It's funny, but I was forced to start making plans, to start setting up things because there was a purpose. But if you leave, oh yeah, let's be seen. Let's see how we see. We'll meet someone here. There are plenty fine guys here when they look for black girls.
There must be a framework. There must be a framework on which you will start building a foundation of whatever you two of you intend to develop in the long run. So if there's no framework, just like for instance, when you want to write project for school, your supervisor will ask you, after you submit topic and everything, and this is what you're going to write, he will ask you which framework you want use to write this thing. You got to get structure, and you got to present it in a certain way. So if
there must be, in social sciences, they will tell you there must be a hypothesis that you want to test. If you're not testing any hypothesis,
there must be something like a compass that is direct, that is guided, that that okay, this is where you're going, and this is what you have to do to get to that point. And it has to be.
And that's why we have research proposal, babe. That's why we have research proposal. In research proposal, you give a brief of your plan from beginning to end.
What you want to do, why you want to do that, and what you want to achieve.
Before your supervisor can now accept and say, oh yeah, do the research. So with this, your babe now in the UK. Kukuma writes research proposal now, so we can know where he's heading to.
By January.
Let me tell you something, Bess. Let me tell you something. This is not me trying to give you hope or whatever. I'm not trying to do anything, but I don't know. Nnamdi, maybe you have seen it too. So in the UK, everybody is busy. People they work. People they collect. Even some people that have a salary job, like full-time job, they still do something on the side, like hourly shift to collect extra pay. Yeah. So there's no time. And relationship, people don't really go into relationship. Man no day, woman no day for this UK.
Everybody is a hustler.
Everybody is hustling. So I always tell people who have people in the UK, I don't know about US or Canada, I'm talking about UK where they live. There's hope that whoever you are dating in the UK is still for you and will always be for you. Because for this UK, whether you are a man waiting for dating a guy here or a girl that Nigeria dating a man here, people don't have time here. People don't get time. Like,
they were saying time and money for Nigeria.
I don't
think Nigerians understand the concept of time and money. Now, until I come here, but I realized that if a lady gives you 1 hour, if a lady gives you 1 hour, know that in that 1 hour, she can be making 13 pounds, 14 pounds, 15 pounds.
25 pounds, 25 pounds even in that 1 hour. Okay.
And she has bills to pay. She has rent to pay monthly.
Exactly. And people are working hard maybe to secure a settlement or secure tier 2. So people are just more focused here. So relationship is not really, people want to be in relationship, but it's almost hard to, you can't easily just
be going somewhere.
Yeah, you can't easily find someone to date compared to Nigeria. In Nigeria now, if people they date your next door neighbor, say for Nigeria, and relationship will go where. It's not the same here at all. It's not.
In Nigeria, there is free time. There is free time. For instance,
you can go to work and gossip for the whole of the day and pay your money.
No, there's free time to be in the visa and call one babe and be like, how far? Make I send Uber.
I want to go
visa.
I want to go Abakaliki Street now, sir.
You see, you can just make call, babe. I day here, babe. They come, babe. Go, yeah.
No, UK, there's no time.
The girl will tell you, I'm on night shift, or I'm just coming back from my shift now. Yes,
Nigerians who come here actually say, man, or more. Even some double make videos say conjure the kid, they finish them. So just to tell you the situation of the things,
with the code,
it's not really easy here to find. And it's not even just seeing someone to date, it's seeing someone that is your spec. Because now that spec gone, now they stimulate the compatibility and the chemistry. If that person not be your spec like
The
that,
connection.
that connection no go too solid. Sure, you get so chatting and everything, but it's easier to find someone to date in Nigeria. You can even date like 3, 4, 5 people in 1 year in Nigeria compared to the UK here. And those
I miss
and those 5 people you date in Nigeria, they will all be your spec. But in UK, if you date 5 people in a year, not only one of you manage your spec.
And if you carry your spec go UK, you and I go get trouble. It go dump you. So
no, not be all. No, not be all. It like I say, it depends on what people are building.
There are complexities, and I think that's probably one of the things we'll probably want to trash out. There are complexities to relationships and to marriages here. It's a lot. I found out that a lot of men are not willing to bring their wives here, because here, I think I'll just say it. Ada also knows in the UK society, the rights that are respected are the rights of the woman first.
Yeah.
Woman first. The right of the child second. The right of animals.
Pets.
Third.
Yeah, that's true.
Not the right of the man. So if you carry your wife here and she understands how these things work, and it's not someone who really loves you, you will
yeah. You're on a long
premium international shaggy is what you will see.
Don't be lie, yes. And the government will stand gidigba behind her.
And they will stand with her.
To show the man shaggy.
She go come out you for house. She go come out. The house where that you pay for.
House where you pay, where you buy where you say a service the mortgage.
So the complexities here is that's why I've seen people who they will be in the UK and vow never to bring their wives here.
Yeah, I've seen that. Even in the US.
In Nigeria.
Yeah.
They will not. Why? Because they don't want her to come to a point where she's exposed enough to know that she can get away with some things.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I think if the guy is not shitty, any responsible guy who is family oriented, who is not shitty, who is a kind-hearted person, okay, and who has a good woman, shouldn't be afraid of bringing the woman here, right? And because what happens is so these Nigerian men, I'm not saying it's all of them, when they come here, they want to reproduce that patriarchal toxicity that they could get away with in Nigeria. So when they start it here now, hand will come they'll say that the woman.
It's funny. It's funny. See the thing, I think the thing is people don't understand, but I feel if a person from Nigeria comes to the UK for any reason whatsoever, the person should take 1 month to get a proper reorientation. Now, you would not know that you are toxic. See the thing that the truth is, as a guy who was born and bred in Anambra State, I've been in Anambra all my life. Apart from the few times where I relocated to Lagos and Abuja, we have a mindset of masculinity that you do not know is toxic until you come to the UK. Until you come to UK, one first thing you do as a man is to unlearn, is to relearn. You understand? You have to unlearn, you have to relearn. Because a lot of things you talk about manhood, a lot of things you talk about marriage, and see, the thing is, you must be willing to adjust. You must be willing to drop everything you know from Nigeria and then start learning. Because if you don't do it, that trouble you go enter. And it's not easy. Let nobody deceive you. Especially for a man who is an Odogu, who prides himself with being an Odogu. Odogu's marriages don't work in the UK.
Alpha male.
Because for your marriage to work in the UK, you have to put your Odogu in your pocket and calm down.
Alpha male, especially all those alpha male, they will come and say, when you come to UK, oh my goodness.
You will be humble. Best, you wash plate.
Alpha male, they wash plate. They push people.
Best, you wash plate. You will sweep house. You go and do grocery shopping. You
go buy akabu and sugar, as in, So that's
there's no gendered role.
No, they're not at all.
No, right now I do that. Even here in Nigeria, I do that. Like my relationship, my engagement that got broken sometimes this year. I was literally doing all those things in my house. Yeah. I do the cooking. I don't like untidy environment.
That's why I said that it's not
Uh,
all Nigerian men, but majority
not
of them, they come here with that mindset.
From my
Yes.
that is my own orientation from my father's house. Yes. When you wake up in the morning, as
they gotta be telling they gotta be telling Insta blog that that wife pushing them come up. Well, I do.